Welcome back to Generation Orange. We're together. What's up, Dad? It's good to see you. It's always a ball when we get to watch football together. If you guys remember, just a few weeks ago in Los Angeles, we were doing this and it wasn't quite what the result that we wanted, but today it was. We're in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, just wrapped up the game. It was a hard-fought battle, and if you would have told me this time last year that the Broncos would be tied with the Patriots and the Colts for the best record in the NFL, what would you? If somebody told you that, what would you have thought?
I would be okay. That sounds good.
You would believe it?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I believed in these Broncos. You believed in these Broncos.
I did believe in the Broncos. You know? I wasn't sure if we were going to have this much success this early on. Man, we're feeling good.
Yes, we are. Gosh, I mean, a hard-fought defensive game. I think
as we kind of anticipated.
Yes, for sure.
That was one thing. If you didn't catch our show, we have one every, kind of middle of the week before the game. We just preview, kind of talk about expectations. And one of the things that we talked about, and I think has kind of been the consensus overall when you look at these expert picks, is that this was not going to be a game that you got to take the under on this one, because it was going to be a defensive battle. And with C.J. Stroud out so early, that's kind of what it ended up being. Let's talk about that, because we had some feelings. We watched it live together.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No. Hey, we've been a little hard on officiating, right? Throughout this season, and maybe we're wrong on this. We didn't have any audio, so if we are, I apologize. But from what we saw, when Chris Abrams-Drain hit C.J. Stroud, flag was thrown, and then we assumed that it was a personal foul because this was a bang-bang violent hit on Stroud.
And Stroud didn't get up right away. He didn't get up at all.
Right. And we see this time and again where they throw flags and ask questions later, right? And
maybe you'll get an apology the next day.
Right. Yeah. Maybe get an apology.
Sorry you missed the playoffs, but...
Right. So what we like I said, we didn't have audio, but from what we saw, what we believe happened is that they used replay assist and determined that this was a legal hit, which it was. We all saw the replay. Chris Abrams comes in like he's coached to do. The quarterback is a football player like anybody else in this situation when he's running, and he hits him with his shoulder to the quarterback's chest.
There's no contact, helmet to helmet. He doesn't aim for the head. C.J. Stroud does not do a very good job of hitting the quarterback slide, which I guess is what he was trying to do at that time, which would make him a defenseless player. I understand that. And as soon as the flag got thrown, I mean, I'm rolling my eyes. He's rolling his eyes. And there's a part of me, when C.J. Stroud doesn't get up.
You went on a rant.
I did go on a rant. This happens every single time. And blah, blah, blah. And you had mentioned in the midweek podcast about the personal foul, or I don't remember exactly what the penalty was.
With Singleton that went back and forth a couple of years ago.
Exactly. So it's just kind of interesting that things always come full circle, and then C.J. Stroud gets hit, and it's bad. As soon as he didn't get up, you know that he's not coming out of concussion protocol. We never want that. It's never cool for players. You always want health, but at the same time, there's a reason why they're millionaires. And I'm not calling for, this isn't like a Bounty Gate, Sean Payton, New Orleans, none of that. It's more of just, we're playing the game of football. It was a really thoughtful defensive play by Abrams-Drain, I thought. And I have never, in my time watching football, I can't recall a time where they revoked a personal foul or roughing, late hit flag.
Again, and maybe I don't think we could have interpreted this wrong. The next thing we know, I'm listening to her rant, and I'm, ranting a little myself. And next thing I know, the Texans are punting the ball.
I know. What's going on?
What? Okay.
I guess we got it, but we got the ball.
So kudos for the rest for that, because Chris Abrams-Drain was doing his job. He made a great play, and he stopped him a yard and a half, 2 yards short of the sticks.
Right.
That's what he's supposed to do.
That's exactly what
he's supposed to do. And sometimes guys get hurt. It sucks. It's a violent game. We love the action, but at the end of the day, yes, guys get hurt. Our best is Stroud. Hopefully he gets back on the field soon.
Yep, they're going to need him.
But props to the refs.
Right? Absolutely. You don't see that a lot. And replay assist, coming into this season especially, you're not really sure. You don't really know exactly how it operates or how it's going to look.
But they've done some good
things. They really have done a lot of good things. I've really been surprised with just how often they're getting involved. And I think overwhelmingly it has been very positive. Shout out to replay assist, the replay officials. All of it has been really great this season. Speaking of injuries, I never checked. I typically, in the game, if there's some injury, I like to check Twitter, see what people are saying. Zach Allen was out. for a few plays. And how awesome was it to have him back and to make the play?
Big pressure at the end of
yes.
that game. It's not going to really show up. It wasn't a sack, and it wasn't but he forces an incompletion on third down. Was it fourth down? That was fourth down, right? No, it was third down.
It was third down, but they were pinned.
They had to punt, and that was a big, big play. Shout out to the defense. No PS2, no problem. You know, they played really good.
Clean football also.
Yeah, yes.
We didn't see, you guys probably saw this graphic run. The Broncos have had the most penalties for the most amount of yards this season. It's just disgusting. It's abysmal. But today, it seemed pretty clean.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you could tell, especially Riley Moss had a few really good defensive breakups, and it's like he's kind of looking for the flag, or like anticipating that he might get one. He's like, no flag.
It looked like he said no flag one time.
Yeah, I think he did. He might have. I know that's what I was saying.
Right.
So that there are good things to talk about today, but do I feel like we beat this team with a backup quarterback and with a right tackle, starting right tackle out the way that we should have beat this team? No, I don't. And I think that they're not necessarily a reason for concern. I don't think that Bo Nix played his best football today.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there was, at least 3 or 4 times where the guys were open for first down yardage in the ball. I mean,
just
he had
bad throws.
The pick was, and I think, credit to this Texans defense. I'm thinking
that's true. They play good defense.
They play good defense, and I think they had a plan to kind of confuse Bo, I'm guessing, today, and they had some success with it.
And it worked.
So, yeah, growing points for Bo today. This was not his best game. Might have been his worst game of the year.
I genuinely might
really,
have
other
been.
than maybe the first game was pretty rough against
that's true.
Tennessee. But rough game for Bo, and, I mean, he had some plays, but,
Yeah, and just like, for instance, the throwing the ball when you're already about 1.5 yards past the line of scrimmage, that's not very characteristic of Bo. He has really, really great football situational awareness like that. He knows where he is typically on the field, so that was I was kind of surprised about that. But at the same time, towards the end, he tends to play his best he plays his best football. We play our best football as a unit in the fourth quarter, and he really, he made it happen when we needed it to. So
for sure,
Bo is still the man. You're gonna have people online saying, this game is, this shows.
I told you so.
I told you so. Bo's a bust.
He drinks too many Red Bulls before the game.
He's a sophomore slump, or maybe he's got a little bit of Ferris Bueller in him. That could be true, but he's still our guy. And no matter what, it was a hard-fought defensive game like we talked about, but came out with the win. And as of right now, it's about halftime. The Chiefs and the Bills. We are Bills fans today, Broncos country. I know that there's a sour taste left in our mouth with this Buffalo Bills team, but you got to get over it just tonight, because we got to. You said it though. What really has to happen with the Chiefs?
2 weeks. We got to beat them. Period.
We got a date. We got a date with the Chiefs in 2 weeks.
And it kind of also, I would say next week with the Raiders. This has been a great winning streak. I don't want
6 games. It might be the longest in the NFL.
I think it is.
I think
yes,
it is. After today.
But boys and girls, this is the thing. It needs to go 8. Okay, we can't. Losing to the Raiders is not an option.
Nope.
Losing to the Chiefs in Mile High this year, it's not an option. We need to win these games.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful they got the win. I'm so grateful Indy lost.
Yeah, that's true.
Buffalo may finish the job. They may not. I mean, I hope they do. But at the end of the day, we got to beat them, guys.
Yep.
We
kind of talked about this. I think we have been talking about this the last few episodes, but the Broncos are finally in control of their own destiny in Week 8. Halfway through the season, and it really is all in front of them. And whatever you want, you can take it. I really do think that. I think the division is still very much within reach. I think high seeding in the AFC is well within reach, especially after seeing Indy lose today.
These are the standards by which we should be operating.
100% of the time.
It's been a while, but that's where it is now. And we need. Goodness, it is good to see. And this is a team that finds a way to win.
Yeah.
It's week 9. Who are we? Okay, we're a team. The Broncos are a team that wins football games.
Mm-hmm.
They play hard. They get after the quarterback. They play defense, and they make plays to win games.
Yep. That is so true. And I would think we should. I know we have a few more things to talk about with the game, so let's pivot, talk a little bit more. I think this midweek podcast, we both mentioned the rookies last week had a pretty remarkable game. And if you guys recall, the title of Wednesday's podcast was, "Can the Rookies Make Another Stand?" And
they did.
They absolutely did. It was so awesome to see those guys out there making plays when it mattered. And I know the offense was it wasn't ideal today, don't get me wrong, and I think we have probably a discussion is to be had about play calling, but they looked great out there. We didn't see I don't think we saw Jody Barron out there.
He was out there. He was out there a little bit. I think he had about the similar amount of snaps that he's been getting.
I was going to say, he did not start
Abrams-Drain came in. Abrams-Drain, they got a few plays on Abrams-Drain, but I would say he held his ground.
Yeah, 100%. Hufanga had a great game once again.
Killed it.
He killed it, especially up at the line of scrimmage. I think that's something that a trend that I've noticed with him is he just, I don't know what it's like to play safety, but I do know what it looks like when they play good football, and he is so good about knowing when to stay at home. The only time I think I've really seen him get beat bad was the Giants game. I think the first touchdown that they had. That was really the only time where kind of over-anticipated, didn't stay at home. But games like today, especially up at the line of scrimmage, is when it matters the most, and he did a great job. Very physical, very, that's exactly what I want in that secondary. So shout out to Hufanga. I feel like we're saying his name a lot recently, and I'm happy for it because he's just the coolest. Yeah, agree. Yeah, we've given him some love, but maybe not quite enough. That's true. He's been a great addition. And shout out to the kid Bryant. Oh, yes, Pat Bryant. That reception, it was very Cortland-esque. Yes, it was. He got on third down, it was like 3rd and 9. I think he caught it for about a 7.5-yard gain and just decided he was not going to be denied. And great play by the kid. And a big conversion, too. At that point in the game. Another good day for Harvey. Yeah, absolutely. A good day for Harvey. Yeah, another good day for Crawshaw. Had some good punting. That's true. I wish we could have seen a little bit more out of the run game, and we kind of talked about it because in the first quarter it really was looking good and it really was looking dominant. And we talk so much about how it's so important to establish the line of scrimmage, especially in games like this where at some point in the fourth quarter you're going to want to just be grinding out the clock. You don't want to be concerned with anything else. And I think you kind of saw both sides of that today, because I think if we would have committed to the run a little bit more, especially in the first half, even if it's a close game, even if we're still tied at 15, now you have the ability to construct a 4, 5, 6 minute long drive in the fourth quarter, eat up the clock, and then kick the game-winning field goal. Couldn't agree more. I think they could have, had they established that line of scrimmage earlier in the game, they could have put the game away more efficiently in the second half. The good news is they have such a good defense that just kept stopping them and kept getting them the ball back, and so they made enough plays to win the game when it's all said and done. But I think this wasn't a perfect game, but at the same time, this was one of the best defenses in football that they went against. And although you brought this up, I don't know if you already knew this or maybe if you saw the graphic, but the Texans have one of the top-rated defense overall. But in the red zone, they're number 32. That's one of the craziest. And you know what's crazy? The Broncos were never really in the red zone. I mean, they scored from beyond the 20. Like Sean's like, you know what? We don't want to get in the red zone where it's easy. Let's I don't know. It was interesting. Another graphic that I'm sure shocked you. The Broncos are number 1 in screen attempts, completions, and screen yardage. Which is kind of, we believe the attempts, but it just seems so often they're getting, -3 yards. That's what it feels like. Blown up. They do get some good ones too. That's true. I just don't, and we run so many of those screens and those bubble screens, and today was no different. I feel like last week we finally got a break from them. If you're a long-time listener, this is going to become a running joke. I hate the screen passes. I think situationally, when they make sense, run it. But I think it's just that, it's situationally, and I think for the past years, honestly, it's just, for whatever reason, been such a cornerstone of the offense. Sean can't help it. He can't help it. There's sometimes if I will say one, I have so much respect for Sean. Hey, that's my guy, that's our head coach. Wouldn't trade him for the world. He is very stubborn. And I think in a lot of ways, maybe you want that at head coach in sometimes, but oh man, when it comes to just bubble screen, bubble screen. It's what he does. It's all he does.
He won't stop.
He will not. So, and like even when you're watching, for instance, the Chiefs and the Bills game, we should count how many screen passes they run. Because I am really curious to see just how do different teams who are very effective offensively, both of those teams are, how do they operate the screen pass? And obviously, like different personnel, you're going to run certain things that is more suitable for your guys. Yes. But I don't know. It bothers me. Especially, there's a point, second and third quarter, we're just throwing the ball. I mean, it was like Hackett-esque level of how much time we're spending in the air.
Remember the possession? One bomb incomplete, like another bomb incomplete, another bomb on 3rd and 10, touchdown. So keep doing it.
Yeah, we were just like, all right, celebrate, of course. But then we're like, if it works, I guess at some point you're gonna throw it up there and it's gonna get caught.
I think you bring up a really good point about what will they do against the Chiefs, the Chargers. I do believe this about Sean. Sean is always playing the long game, okay? What I mean by that is, sure, we're trying to beat the Texans this week. Well, every week he's trying to win, but at the same time, he's very cognizant of what he's showing his future opponents. So what will he do against the Chiefs? That's where
maybe the playbook opens a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
And maybe we don't really see screen passes, but we give the look, so we keep those guys up there, and then I don't know. I'm just speculating. All I'm saying is, as much as these screens drive us crazy, they may set some things up hopefully, in bigger games.
That totally could be. Head coaches, even at the collegiate level, for those of you who don't know, I'm a journalism student, and so I cover my home university football team a lot, and it's a small university. It is D1 football, but it's not like we're talking about Oregon and Alabama. And even head coach Brian Wright is so paranoid. And I feel like every football head coach that I've ever met, that you can't film on practice, you can't film 7-on-7s, you can't film 11-on-11s, even if it's your second or third string guys. I don't think anyone's necessarily interested in leaking the playbook for Brian Wright and the Lumberjacks. Obviously, we're talking about the NFL, but you're totally right that coaches are very cognizant of that, because what is your job as a coach, especially as a coordinator? You're studying film. You know what I mean? You're looking at what do they run and what motions are they giving. You're trying to break code or just see patterns and things, and that might be what it takes. This is the Chiefs are a known opponent. You know what I mean? And they know. I mean, they've wrecked us the last several years. So
we've kind of been,
Oh yeah, 100%. But the trend is still there. You're totally right. It really comes down. The next 2 weeks, 3 weeks is going to be some of the most important football that we've played in a while. In at least a calendar year.
No two ways. I would say these next two, and I know it's just the Raiders, but I mean, this is just, we have to win this one. We can't lose it.
Yep.
We can't, and then we got to beat the Chiefs at home.
Yep.
We may have to beat the Chiefs. We may have to beat the Chiefs three times. That's possible. It doesn't look. I mean, maybe Buffalo beat them today, but it doesn't look like anybody else is ready to do it.
Right, and we've said for years, and I know we've said this in other episodes of the podcast, so I'm sorry for sounding like a broken record, but even before the Bo Nix days, even before the Sean Payton days, I think we were speculating the only team that's going to truly dethrone the Chiefs is going to be the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, it could be.
And here it is.
And so here it is. Yeah. So, anyways, what a nice win. I mean, it's not one that's going to make a lot of highlights on ESPN tonight or what have you. I really love how the refs made a decision for a defender in that situation.
That is very
That is progress.
Yeah.
That's
I'll be
for the
really
game.
excited to see what the conversation is about that later on, because
right. Are we overreacting?
I don't know.
I think it's a big deal.
I think automatically you just see the collision and then you're assuming that flag is coming.
Yeah, we figured they had a 1st and 10 at midfield, or
right.
we're just, and then all of a sudden they're punting the ball.
I never seen anything like it. So I do wish we would have had audio for that, because I know that they had a rules analyst. It was not my boy Gene Steratore, but somebody else from CBS who I'm sure is great. We couldn't hear. So if you guys want to let us know in the comments what was said, do you agree? Are we in the right? Are we overreacting? I mean, we just have never seen anything like this. So if you could let us know, that would be epic. Along with that, just kind of your overall thoughts. This was kind of an ugly game at times. So what are you guys thinking about this? What are you guys feeling about this game? Was this Bo Nix's maybe worst performance that we've seen in a while? We love hearing from you. We are always reading through your comments. Man, what else do we got?
I think we covered it pretty good.
We did,
you know?
and you know, every week we say that, and then
Yeah.
on Wednesday we're thinking, we need to talk about blah 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 blah. And so we didn't, and we also typically watch these games in the comfort of our own home. You know, I'm taking notes, and I've got the sound, and the story is just a little bit clearer to you. But today, we were with some friends. Yeah, we met in Phoenix in the Valley, as you know, where we're from, Arizona. And when we're just kind of hanging out, it's not that we pay attention to every down. Don't get me wrong, we're in it.
Yes.
But it's just not quite as easy. It's a little bit different. So we might be missing a few things. That being said, that's just more of a reason for you guys to tune in on Tuesday evening, because of the Thursday game. We're going to have the midweek podcast a little bit earlier so we can touch base with you guys. That being said, in the meantime, we would love to hear from you guys. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another episode of Generation Orange. It's been so great talking with you guys today. We will see you Tuesday first, but the big show Thursday evening, baby.
The Raiders.
Go Raiders. It never gets old playing those guys. So it's going to be, I think that'll be a really fun episode. My hopes, my feeling is it will be a fun episode to talk about. So that's all we've got from you guys. Once again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tune in Tuesday evening.
Go Broncos.